In the studio with me now to discuss this developing issue is Adeyemi Ajayi. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Exitom Consulting Limited. Good morning and welcome to TVC Breakfast.
Good morning.
Talking about this impasse that we are seeing between the federal government and the labor force now, consequential amendment, it has seemed to become so controversial. Why is that?
Yeah, we've seen this before. Even before time, because the federal government said, okay, we want this. Everybody agreed.
Right.
But again, the blame game has been like a predictive, because we start looking at the economy first. Will government be able to implement immediately? Then labor would not be patient. I recall back then the president said that this should be implemented immediately. But the question is, what is stopping them from implementing it? And we've not seen any states coming out to declare and said, oh, we have been sustaining this for some time, you know. And the blame game will come definitely where there is shift in the value system. What I mean by that is the labor are expecting that government should act. And when governments are not acting, definitely labor will react to it. So the blame is, I will place it at the door of the government, who may promise, but they've not fulfilled their promise.
So while all parties now are trying to agree on how this increment would reflect, there are worries for the federal government that it would be too heavy for the economy to bear. Are we getting a sense of this should have been, you know, taken into account before we at this stage?
It was taken into account, but the implementation strategy is not probably right. Because the minimum wage is about 67.7% increment, you know, over the 18.
What obtained in the 18,
yeah.
right?
Now, if you look at that, you cannot apply that 67.7% across board for everybody. And again, the government should have done that in phases. You know, when I mean in phases, maybe with lower cadre staff, you know, increasing theirs for, you know, some time. The next month you increase for some other level of staff, then all along. But having it been heavy, top heavy, is what they should have, envisaged, even at the negotiation table. I mean, those are the things that should have informed their decisions.
All right, we'll see how more drama plays out. Adeyemi Ajayi, thanks a lot for your insights on the minimum wage issue.
Thank you.
Joining me now in the studio is Adeyemi Ajayi, Chief Executive Officer, Exitom Consulting Limited. It's nice to have you join me right now.
Good morning.
We from the feelers we're getting and comments from a lot of Nigerians say, it seems the organized labor, there's something, it seems either they are compromised or they don't know the next strategy to take in order to handle this issue headlong, because Nigerians are saying it is glaring, it is open that the federal government is not doesn't want to budge when the consequential adjustment and the figures arrived or the percentages are concerned.
Yeah, for the labor, I expected more actions than this. You know, if somebody has promised you something and the person refused to do it, you should step your foot forward to take actions, decisive actions. You know, we've heard about, you know, going on strikes and all that, but all that. If you're making noise and you're not backing it with action, I mean, nobody will take you serious. I am not supporting them shutting down, but there should be some steps they should be taken to make the government feel the heat of their concerns. You know, one of the things I expect them to do is coming back to discussions, calling for discussions on why, why government is not implementing what they promised to implement. So if labor needs to push hard, I think this is the time they should push harder. It's about 4 or 5 months now. I mean, the president has said, okay, let's go ahead and pay, but nothing is forthcoming. Then again, let's ask ourselves this question: would they be paid in arrears of those months, or how?
Well, when it comes to the issue of payment in arrears, the president has continually assured that the payment will commence from April, because it was signed in the law was signed on April 18th, and they expect that whenever this is resolved, whether it is in the next 10 years, we don't hope it gets there anyway, but they'll commence from April. But What scenarios do you see playing out right now? The labor has threatened a strike. They gave an ultimatum. They didn't take it out. And as it is now, going forward, what do you see happening?
Yeah, what I see is government may delay further.
Okay.
Yeah, and why government may delay further is they've started complaining now that we cannot bear the wage bill. That the wage bill, again, I'm afraid there may be a reversal. I say, see, this 30,000 we're talking about seems like we made a mistake. So can we just cut down so that we can pay you? Because you see, in such situation, government will want to negotiate and say, let's cut down. And when people accept that, they'll pay them. But that would be something that will linger for long.
When government came to say that, okay, from level 1 to 7, we're going to, in fact, go ahead and pay them 30,000 naira while we go ahead with the negotiation. Some said it's a divide and rule situation the government is trying to create.
Absolutely, because some people will benefit, some people will not benefit. And those that will not benefit will probably become the enemies of those that will benefit. And government will just be like the referee at this time. So,
all right. Thank you very much, Adeyemi Ajayi, for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's get fresh perspective to this issue. In the studio with me is Adeyemi Ajayi. He's the Chief Executive Officer, Exitium Consulting Limited. Good morning and welcome to TVC Breakfast. Well, where are we now? Because many have said the average Nigerian worker isn't even justly paid for his service. So it's about time that we also look in that regard. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, even the 30,000 has outlived its value from the time it was approved to now. You know, a research that we come across says a family in Nigeria needs 143,200 to survive a month. And single person needs 43,200 to survive. So this is a family of husband, wife, and 4 children.
As an upkeep alone.
Upkeep alone.
Alone,
I mean,
right.
you want to live.
Basic.
Basic. If you pay someone 30,000 naira, that translates into 1,000 naira per day. So, I mean, let's ask ourselves, feeding alone would even take away that 30,000 naira for one person. Talk of housing, talk of power, transport, I mean, and many other things that, I mean, we have to get for living. So it's not a living wage, as I would say.
Absolutely.
And again, the federal government said they were going to pay, they delayed the payment up to this moment, and people are going through tough times. And the economy is not really, you know, encouraging anyone.
And then the other side now, is the Nigerian worker being ably represented by the NLC, that's the parent labor union in Nigeria? Are the workers getting, you know, good representation?
I would rather say no, because in my personal opinion, I do not think the labor is pushing hard enough. I do not think, because this is what the government has said, and government is going back to sleep. I expect that labor at this moment should be pushing hard for this implementation. If federal government has not gone ahead to implement...
Does labor even have any bargaining chip now at the moment?
Yeah, that's even the challenge again. People don't know the direction of the labor. You issue threats, there was nothing coming out of that. People won't take you that serious, you know. So there was nothing coming out of that. People won't take you that serious, you know. So it becomes terrible.
I want you to quickly give your final thoughts now on the government. Are we going to get sacrifices on the government? Look at the list of politicians. Look at the list of, you know, people to pay. Lawmakers also earning so much. That's been said. So what's your take here?
My take here is that there should be sacrifice at some point. But I'm afraid these people that take big money, I mean, nobody cuts down their money. So I don't think they will want to make that sacrifice, no.
Adeyemi Ajayi, thank you for your contributions on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you.